People often say that alcohol helps them loosen up, that it makes them more fun, more relaxed, more confident. But let's be honest. Does alcohol really bring out the best in people, or does it just strip away their ability to control themselves? It's easy to convince yourself that a few drinks make you more social, more charismatic, more fearless. But what's actually happening is that alcohol is lowering your inhibitions, numbing your awareness, and disconnecting you from your ability to think clearly and act responsibly. Think about the worst decisions you've ever made. How many of them happened when you were thinking clearly, when you were fully present, when you were making choices based on logic rather than impulse? The truth is, alcohol doesn't make you better. It makes you less disciplined, less rational, less in control of your own life. And if you don't have control over yourself, then what do you really have? Many people turn to alcohol not because they enjoy it, but because they're escaping something. Stress, loneliness, boredom, insecurity. But escaping doesn't solve a problem, it only postpones it. Whatever you're running from will still be there when you wake up the next morning, only now you've added a headache, some regret, and maybe a few broken relationships to the mix. And that's another thing. How many friendships, families, and careers have been destroyed by alcohol? How many times has alcohol turned a small argument into a massive fight? How many dreams have been derailed because someone thought they could control their drinking, only to find out too late that alcohol was controlling them instead? You might think, well, I can handle it, I'm different. But that's the thing. Everyone thinks that. Nobody takes the first drink believing it'll ruin their life, but it happens. Slowly, little by little. It chips away at your discipline, your confidence, your sense of responsibility, until one day you look around and wonder how you ended up so far from the life you wanted. A clear mind is a strong mind. Success, discipline, personal growth, all of these require focus and self-mastery. Alcohol doesn't help with that. It clouds judgment, weakens willpower, and makes it easier to break promises to yourself. And the more you let those small failures slide, the easier it becomes to justify bigger ones. People often say that alcohol helps them feel free, that it allows them to be themselves without hesitation. But let's take a moment to question that. Does alcohol really make you more authentic, or does it simply strip away the very things that make you strong, disciplined, and in control? It lowers inhibitions, yes, but that doesn't mean it brings out the best in you. In fact, it often does the exact opposite. Think about the moments in life that require real strength. Standing up for yourself, making the right decision when it's hard, staying disciplined when temptation is everywhere. These are the moments that define your character, and they require a clear mind and steady self-control. But alcohol takes those things away. It doesn't give you confidence, it gives you recklessness. It doesn't make you bold, it makes you impulsive. And in those moments of lowered inhibitions, people say things they regret, do things they wouldn't normally do, and wake up the next morning with a sense of shame they can't shake. It's easy to believe that alcohol is a shortcut to relaxation, a way to escape from stress or fear. But escaping doesn't solve anything. It only delays the problem, and worse, it can create new problems in the process. How many friendships have been damaged by words spoken in a drunken haze? How many careers have been thrown off track by one bad decision at a party? How many people have let their goals slip away because they kept choosing the temporary release of alcohol over the lasting power of discipline? The truth is, the best version of you is not the one that's uninhibited and out of control. The best version of you is the one who stands firm in their values, who makes decisions with clarity, who doesn't need a drink to feel confident or to have a good time. Strength isn't found in lowering your guard. It's found in mastering yourself, in holding yourself to a higher standard, even when the world tells you it's okay to let go. So ask yourself, when you look back at your life, do you want to be proud of the choices you made? Or do you want to be filled with regret over moments when you let alcohol take the wheel? The answer is clear. Your best self is not the version of you that's uninhibited and reckless. It's the version of you that stays in control, stays focused, and never lets anything weaken their grip on their own life. Life is full of challenges, and when things get tough, the temptation to escape can be overwhelming. It's easy to convince yourself that avoiding the problem will make it disappear. But the truth is, running from your struggles never solves them. It only gives them more power over you. The longer you avoid facing them, the bigger they grow and the harder they become to confront. Problems don't vanish just because you refuse to look at them. They sit in the background, waiting for the moment when they can come crashing down even harder. Avoidance might bring temporary relief, but it also brings long-term consequences. It's like sweeping dirt under a rug. It might look clean on the surface, but underneath the mess is still there, growing bigger every day. Eventually you have to deal with it, and by then it's far worse than it ever had to be. That's the cost of escaping. It turns small challenges into overwhelming burdens. It turns a moment of discomfort into years of regret. Growth comes from facing your struggles head on, not from running in the opposite direction. Every challenge you conquer makes you stronger. Every difficult conversation you have, every setback you push through, every fear you confront, it all builds resilience. When you face problems instead of escaping them, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are in control, and that nothing has the power to break you unless you allow it. Escaping is easy, but easy never leads to greatness. Facing your struggles requires courage, discipline, and effort, but in return it gives you strength, confidence, and a life that isn't ruled by fear. So stop running. Face your problems with everything you've got, because when you stop trying to escape, you start taking control. And when you take control, there's nothing you can't overcome. Relationships are one of the most valuable things in life, but they are also fragile. They take years to build, but can be damaged in moments of carelessness, neglect, or pride. Too often, people realize the worth of a relationship only after it's broken, and by then, regret has already settled in. The worst part of regret isn't just losing someone, it's knowing that you had the power to prevent it, but didn't. Words spoken in anger, trust betrayed, time taken for granted. These things don't seem like much in the moment, but over time they add up. A small crack in a foundation doesn't seem dangerous at first, but if ignored, it can bring the whole structure down. That's how relationships work. When problems are pushed aside instead of being addressed, resentment grows. When pride stops you from apologizing, distance forms. When you fail to appreciate someone, they eventually stop trying. And by the time you realize what's happened, it's often too late to fix it. Regret is a heavy burden because it comes with the knowledge that things could have been different. It forces you to replay moments in your mind, thinking about what you should have said or done. It makes you wish you had listened more, forgiven faster, or held on a little tighter. But regret can't change the past. The only thing it can do is teach you a lesson, to do better while you still have the chance. If a relationship matters to you, don't wait until it's broken to appreciate it. Don't let your ego stop you from fixing what can be repaired. Don't assume that people will always be there, no matter how they're treated. Show up, communicate, and take responsibility for your actions. The greatest regret isn't making a mistake, it's losing something you never had to lose in the first place. You can't change yesterday, but you can change today. And today is your chance to protect what matters before it becomes another story of what could have been. Clarity is power. When your mind is clear, you make better decisions, move with purpose, and see life for what it truly is. But too many people walk through life in a fog, distracted, overwhelmed, and controlled by emotions they don't understand. A cluttered mind leads to confusion, doubt, and hesitation. It keeps you stuck in cycles of stress and negativity. But when you clear the noise, everything changes. A strong mind isn't one that never struggles. It's one that knows how to cut through the distractions and focus on what really matters. It's easy to get lost in overthinking, worrying about the past or fearing the future. But a clear mind stays rooted in the present. It doesn't get trapped in endless what-ifs or waste time on things beyond control. It sees the situation as it is, not as emotions distort it. With clarity, you stop reacting impulsively and start acting with purpose. Strength comes from discipline, and discipline begins in the mind. You can train your body all you want, but if your thoughts are chaotic, you will always be held back. A strong mind filters out negativity, silences self-doubt, and refuses to entertain destructive thoughts. It chooses focus over distractions, solutions over excuses, and growth over comfort. It doesn't let outside noise dictate its direction. The way you think shapes your life. A clear mind gives you confidence because you aren't weighed down by unnecessary burdens. It gives you resilience because you see challenges as opportunities instead of threats. It gives you peace because you stop fighting battles that aren't yours to fight. And most importantly, it gives you control. Control over your emotions, your choices, and ultimately your future. If you want to be strong, start by clearing your mind. Cut out the distractions, focus on what matters, and refuse to let anything take your peace. Because a clear mind is not just a strong mind, it's a free mind. And when your mind is free, nothing can hold you back. Real freedom isn't about doing whatever you want, whenever you want. It's about having control over yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your emotions. Too many people think freedom is the absence of discipline, but the truth is, without self-mastery, you're a prisoner to your own weaknesses. When you lack control over your impulses, you're controlled by them. When you let emotions dictate your decisions, you become a slave to the moment. True freedom comes when you have power over yourself, when your mind and actions align with your goals instead of being pulled in every direction by temporary desires. Self-mastery is knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It's knowing when to push forward and when to step back. It's resisting what feels good in the moment for what is right in the long run. It's the ability to say no to distractions, no to excuses, and no to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. Without this, you are at the mercy of external forces, people, emotions, temptations, and circumstances. But when you master yourself, none of those things have power over you anymore. It takes effort to control your mind, your habits, and your emotions. It takes discipline to wake up early when you want to sleep in, to work when you'd rather relax, to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. But every time you make the harder choice, you get stronger. Every time you resist a bad habit, you prove to yourself that you are in control. And that kind of power, that's what separates those who lead from those who follow, those who achieve from those who only dream. Self-mastery is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about getting better every day, becoming the kind of person who doesn't run from challenges but embraces them. Because the moment you stop being ruled by fear, doubt, and laziness, you become unstoppable. And that is the real freedom, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the strength to handle it, the discipline to overcome it, and the mindset to rise above it. The strongest people, the most successful people, the ones who truly create something meaningful in their lives, they don't rely on alcohol to make them feel good. They rely on discipline, on purpose, on mastering themselves. Because self-mastery is the only real freedom there is. So ask yourself, who do you really want to be? Do you want to be someone who's in control of their own destiny, or someone who lets a substance dictate their choices? Do you want to wake up every morning knowing you're living with purpose, or do you want to spend your days recovering from the mistakes of the night before? The choice is yours. But understand this, alcohol doesn't bring out the best in you. It takes away what makes you great. And if you're serious about living up to your potential, about being the strongest, sharpest version of yourself, then maybe it's time to put the bottle down and take full control of your life.